Did you guys know we recently hit 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube? Well, we'd actually be at more like 6,000 if the 85% of you returning viewers actually hit the subscribe button. You scroll down just a little bit and there's going to be a subscribe button for you guys right here. You can even hit like on the video or share it with your friends too while you're down there. And our description box down below also has links to all of the different socials I have. And the best part is you can even leave a comment telling me how much you enjoyed the video, or didn't. I don't care, it's your life. Subscribing doesn't take anything but that 1 second of time, and it really helps make sure that you don't miss any of my uploads. So if you are enjoying watching all of my content, it helps you out, and it helps me out. Now that you've done that, let's get back to the video. What is up, guys? Ninja Nick, we are back for another round of this league challenge. This is the final round. Round 3 of Swiss Best of 3, 60 minutes. This day was a slog. It felt like I was playing in a regional, and it was a 3-round league challenge. We do have Chris Saikala on the left, a very storied player from the area, versus Eamon on the right, a very storied player exclusively in the senior division. He is in the Masters division now, has been for years. And he told me that he plays with this SpongeBob naked card as his V-Star marker when he is on camera on my channel specifically. Thank you, Eamon. I appreciate you. So it looks like he did win the coin flip, so he is going to go first. Opens that nice Battle VIP pass. The best opening card in any deck, where you are able to search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon on turn 1. So we're going to get another Comfey and a Greninja. Yep. Pretty self-explanatory. That's what Lost Box usually almost always gets turn 1 with the Battle VIP pass, unless they are already in hand. Chris is playing that Charizard deck again, like he played, did he play it the last time I recorded? I don't even remember. He played it the last time at the League Challenge where I couldn't record. Yeah, he played it at the League Challenge where I couldn't record, and he won that. It was me and him down in the last round, both the 3-0s, and whoever won earned 3 CP. Because we both had 4 League Challenge wins and 2 seconds on the record. And he beat me because I was playing Colorless Lugia, and it's a really bad matchup into Charizard. Game 1 he bricked, Game 3 I bricked. Game 2 was extremely close, but it came down to the fact that I discarded a Jet Energy turn 2 and prized my last Jet Energy as well. If I had just 1 more energy available to me, I could have hit with Weird Ear for 240, but I maxed out at 320 and could not one-shot a Charizard. So I could have won it, but I didn't, and that's my bad. Try not to discard energies if you're playing Lugia. But Charizard is a really cool deck. It's very hard to beat if they can set up. The question is just if they can set up. And if they get that Battle VIP pass off of their Mew, that is a pretty good way to start the whole thing. We also see the Pidgeot V is in hand. So if we do have the Forest Seal Stone or the Arven to grab the Forest Seal Stone and another Battle VIP pass, we could actually see that Forest Seal go off for even more consistency, finding whatever pieces we're missing, like a rare candy or whatever evolution we need, or even just another Battle VIP pass potentially. Chris also does have access to the really cool promo ones from the promo packs for the Forest Seal Stones. I'm very jealous because those are non-holo, and I'm really into the non-holos these days. They do not warp like holos do. I'm really tired of my cards warping. At first, Scarlet and Violet seemed like they were a lot better with the warping, and then just as soon as I started saying that out loud, my Scarlet and Violet holos have just been curling like crazy. It's absolutely disgusting. But yeah, the Sword and Shield era cards warp quite a bit as well. Anybody who's ever played Expanded knows that whenever you go to an Expanded tournament, before it starts, that morning on the Saturday, at the regional, you have to go to the head judge and have them proxy your A-Spec card, because the A-Specs warp worse than any other cards in the game. And if you are deck checked at any point in the tournament and you're playing an A-Spec card, which is basically mandatory to be playing in Expanded, you're gonna get a penalty for a marked card. It happens always. There was one regional I was at. It was in Toronto. It was an Expanded regional. The one Pikarom was available for the first time to play at. I was playing Trevenant because it beat all the counters to Pikarom. You just dodge Pikarom. It was the best play for the event for sure. Pretty much everybody in my group who played it made day 2. I think me and one other guy missed day 2, and the other guy is the only one who missed points. Everybody else in the group made points. So one guy missed out on points. I missed out on day 2, and then everybody else made day 2 and points. So it was pretty sweet. But yeah, my A-Spec got taken out of my deck at one point during a deck check. I didn't get penalized or anything. They were just like basically just replacing everybody's A-Specs throughout the whole tournament. Eamon's showing off them battle VIP passes because it's no longer turn 1. You always find those when it's after turn 1. So that's the second time during this tournament where we've had somebody flash all their battle VIP passes to us, because, what was it? Round 1, Alex had 4 in hand at one point in game 1, I think it was. He just, like, discarded them with, like, Ultra Balls and Superior Energy Retrievals back-to-back turns, I think it was. That was really funny. So Chris's start is absolutely phenomenal. He's got 2 of the Pidgeys on his bench. He's also got 3 Charmanders, and he's got the Mute in the active spot. So even if he gets like escape roped and Eamon attacks with a Cramorant here, he could just feed one of the Pidgeys and feel fine with it. Or even one of the Charmanders wouldn't be the worst thing in the world either. I did ask him specifically why the deck does play one of the 60 HP Charmander, and I was told by him that it is for the Gardevoir matchup. You can actually knock out the Shining Arcana Gardevoir in certain situations. Like if they knock out a Charizard, you can be able to retaliate by attacking with the 60 HP Charmander and knocking out their Guardy. So it's pretty good in that regard. So kind of like the same reasoning why you play one of the 60 HP Ralts, you play one of the 60 HP Charmanders as well. And looks like Chris is reading the back of the SpongeBob card. Is it like talking about a specific episode or something? It almost looks like one of those Topps trading cards for Pokemon, like on the back. Like talks about the episode of Pokemon that Topps card was based off of or whatever. That looks like Patrick. He's holding some, I can't tell what Patrick's holding, but he's like, is he wearing overalls? I can't tell, man. So, but anyway, we have the Forest Seal Stone down on the Dragonite, and we are using that. That is going to grab, it looks like the Pokestop. We are going to use Lost Vacuum to get rid of the Forest Seal Stone. So it looks like we were just grabbing, using the Forest Seal Stone just because we were trying to get that into the Lost Zone in order to use our Mirage Gate. So might as well use the V-Star power if you're going to get rid of the card off of your board anyway. He did get the Pokestop, so that maybe on a subsequent turn he'll be a little bit more likely to find yet another Mirage Gate or maybe a Super Rod if he needs it, to be able to recycle some of those energies that his Dragonite has. But it feels really bad if he's... Yeah, he definitely is not attacking with the Dragonite. He's got to be attacking with the Radiant Greninja, right? Chris just looked dead into the camera and just went like this. because Eamon should have been grabbing a water energy out of the deck to put on his Radiant Greninja. Right here, what you would want to do is actually, you'd want to knock out the double Pidgey. Or would you want to knock out double Charmander? Double Charmander feels right, but you gotta cut off the consistency. Because it's more than likely that he just won't be able to find a rare candy on the next turn, and if he does, it'll only be one, and then you just attack with Greninja yet again. So here comes the Super Rod. Looks like he already had that in hand, so he could have played the Super Rod first, putting the water energies back into the deck before his Mirage Gate. Now he's going to need one more Mirage Gate or a way to find that one water energy out of the deck. So we are going to start loading up the Sableye as well. We're a little bit off from being able to use the Sableye as an attacker, but you could still Sableye to knock out some of these bench Pokemon as well. Those don't look like the Call for Family Pidgeys, so I think those are the Gust ones. So those are both 60 HP each. So you could knock out both of the Pidgey at the same time. And it looks like we did actually have the last water energy, so we were able to attach that for turn. And we are going to, I'm hoping, knock out double Pidgey, right? So here's the thing, you could knock out the 270 HP Charmanders, and then on the next turn use Sableye to knock out both of the 60 HP Pidgeys, but you're hoping that your opponent is not able, like that's the best way to do it for the damage output, to make sure you can knock out the most amount of Pokemon the easiest and the fastest. But if your opponent has just one rare candy, that messes the entire thing up. It looks like Chris does have Luminion in hand, so it's going to be very likely we're going to see this combo go off now. We do already have the rare candy in hand. That is the Pokemon Go rare candy. Trying to decide which of his Charmanders he wants to evolve, and I think definitely going for the 60 HP one is correct, because against Lost Box, if you leave the 60 HP one in play, Eamon could always use Lost Mine to knock out both the 60 HP Charmander and the 60 HP Mew simultaneously, and that would be pretty detrimental. Your opponent would be able to take 2 more prize cards, going down to 2 remaining, which, yes, it is powering up your attacks, but at what cost? You're now on the verge of losing the game by doing that. We also evolve the Charmander with the Choice Belt into a Charmeleon, so that one will not need a rare candy to evolve on the next turn. And we even have another rare candy, so we're able to rare candy into this second Charizard, get 2 to 3 more energies out of the deck with Infernal Rain as the ability. Put both of those energies onto that Charizard. And, yeah, at this point, I'm not sure how Eamon is supposed to respond to this, because those Charizards are so beefy with the 330 HP. They're just absolute titans, behemoths that are near impossible for a Lost Box deck to take down like that. Especially if you're playing Kyogre, it would feel a lot more feasible. However, it does have the Terra trait, where because it is a Terra Pokemon, it has an unusual typing compared to normal, and it's crystallized. They call it terrestrialize in the video game, but they just call it Terra in the TCG for short. It does prevent those Pokemon from taking damage on the bench, so Kyogre actually doesn't do anything to them. And those are not abilities, so they cannot be shut off by something like Ting Lu, I guess, is like something that shuts off abilities in Standard. I'm trying to think of other things that shut off abilities in Standard right now. The Weezing rotated, right? The Galarian Weezing rotated, I want to say. I'm pretty sure that rotated. So it looks like we grabbed the Kyogre there. We're going to use our flower selecting. So that Kyogre, again, not going to be doing really much of anything I actually would have liked to see that Cramorant stay, because you could always cram into a Charizard and then attack it with a Dragonite, and that would be a nice 2-shot, but your opponent takes 3 prize cards while you're taking 2. So that's a pretty bad trade-off. You really, really need to get going a lot faster than the Charizard deck in order for Lost Box to be able to beat it, I feel like. And I think like that's one of the strengths in Charizard right now, is just kind of having a good Lost Box matchup, in my opinion. Like, yeah, you're mostly 1-prizers versus 2-prizers, but you have so much HP, they have to, like, 3-shot you with Sableyes and Cramorants, that the prize trade just ends up not being worth it. The Terra trait prevents Kyogre from working, which is one of the best tools that Lost Box currently has. You just really have to be able to get, like, 2 turns of attacks off before a Charizard evolves in order to feel comfortable being able to win the game. I don't know what Eamon on the right is saying to the camera, but he keeps like smirking and looking directly into my eyes. He knows I'm watching. Super Rod is going to put the Greninja back in. Again, Greninja, not the best attacker because of that Terra trait, so you could use the Greninja to knock out the Charmeleon and the Mew at the same time. And then go Dragonite Sableye to finish off a Charizard. So only having to go through 1 Charizard EX would be a good way to be able to close out that game. So Eamon definitely knows what his out is here. But we are going to conceal cards away a Water Energy, and I really feel like right here you need to be attaching that for turn and Mirage Gating to that Greninja to be able to go for that play, because Chris already has that next Charizard EX in hand. He has all the gold ones. I have the same art, but just the regular full art ones. One of my friends bought 4 cases of Obsidian Flames because he's insane, and I managed to trade him for 3 of them. I pulled 1, and then since I pulled that one, I want all my cards obviously to match, so I traded him for 3 more of the full arts. Because as you guys know plenty by now, if you're longtime viewers, is you know that I hate when cards don't match for a plethora of reasons. So we are at 9 cards in the Lost Zone here, so we actually still can't attack with Sableye. He's putting his finger up like he's saying 1. I need 1 more. I need 1 more card in there. And he's just going to pass. Yeah, this game's over. Yeah, if I were Eamon, not being able to set up the Greninja play there, and having this yeah, he looks right into the camera and shakes his head no. Yeah, having this Charizard evolve here is pretty much game over for you. As soon as Charizard gets the 3rd Charizard out, those things are just too massive. There's just no way to hit 330 with much of anything. So you're 18 minutes down in this match right now. I would just say scoop it up, go to the next game, try to outpace your opponent. Maybe he's just not able to piece things together in this next game. I actually feel like, I think on paper, I feel like Arceus would actually be really good against Charizard, because they would just judge path, and that is all you need to do to beat Charizard. Mew is generally the best judge path deck, however, Mew's Dark Week and gives 3 prizes, whereas the Charizard only gives 2. So you have to 2-shot them and they 1-shot you. So you're taking 2 prizes every other turn, and they're taking 3 prizes every turn. Like, that just feels bad. Just do Arceus instead. Arceus has more HP. It's going to take you longer to actually take those prizes. So they're not going to be able to 1-shot you, even if they do get a Charizard down. Your path to the peak is going to slow them down as well. It's going to make their Pidgeot not work. You can even mix in Alolan Vulpix, so if they do manage to get your stadium not in play, you could Vulpix them. So I know some of my friends are talking about maybe playing like Arctura Vulpix for this upcoming regional in Toronto. I actually decided I'm not going to go to Toronto. I'm not very happy with the meta right now. I'm not very comfortable enough with it, and I'd rather just save the money than go. So I think I might be just done with regionals for the season. I did have a really hot start, being top 10 in North America for like the first month of the season, or top 16 in North America for the first like month of the season. But that dropped off very quickly after Pittsburgh, like a rock. I actually started dropping just before Pittsburgh because I missed a League Cup. And I refuse to go to any stores that are more than an hour and 15 from me. Like, there's 8 stores within an hour and 15 of me, and if I can't get my invite from locals with that, like, I don't deserve it, in my opinion. But I just decided I don't really want to go to Hawaii, so I'm just going to cut my losses here. And I'm still just going to grind the challenges because they're fun. But hopefully we can get some more League Cups and I don't have to have any other obligations to miss out on League Cups, because I would love to record more League Cups for you guys. So Eamon is digging through his deck here. He benched the Kyogre. Maybe he's thinking about going for a Kyogre play, but if he is, maybe he just doesn't realize the Terra trait on the Charizard. I think he should be aware of that, though. But just benching Kyogre always feels bad. You always want to just bench the Kyogre the turn you're going to use its attack. And in this matchup, you never use the attack. Chris should not be benching any more Pokemon. So now he's going to have to go through these Charizard EXs. Puts 8 damage counters on the active. That will put it at a 250 on the active and 290 on the bench. So what you do with your next Sableye is do, I guess, 60 to the undamaged one, or no, 80 to the undamaged one and 40 to the other damaged one that has 4 damage counters on it, and they're all set up to be knocked out by Dragonite. And then you just try to Dragonite twice, but Chris is at 3 prize cards remaining. After this turn, he's going to go down to 2 remaining. So you just gotta think a couple of turns ahead and realize that you're not going to be able to take 2 Charizard knockouts before your opponent is going to take 1 Dragonite knockout to win the game. So you just scoop up, go to the next game, save the time. You're already, what, 22 minutes into the match? Save that time. Try to win the next 2 games as fast as possible. So Chris is going to shuffle his Pidgeot back into the deck now that the Forest Seal Stone has been used. Get that out of play so it's not a liability, because that would be a really easy thing to be knocked out by something like the Dragonite. Because then Eamon could go through that and one of the Charizards to be able to win. But again, Chris is at 2 remaining prize cards. So Chris is checking his opponent's discard. He's checking what resources have been used, checking the energies and the switching cards. Or actually just checking everything, really. Wait, did Chris just pass? Or no? Maybe Eamon didn't use his attack yet? What's going on? Yeah, so then it gets scooped up. So Chris wins game 1. Eamon's like, oh, I prized my Raikou and my Heavy Ball, even though those don't matter. I mean, the Raikou matters if you want to knock out the Pidgeot EX, but the Pidgeot EX never came into play. Pidgeot V did, but it got shuffled back into the deck immediately. So we're going to go on to Game 2. 36 minutes approximately left in the match. This whole day, too, as soon as everybody's butts were in the chairs, they're like, all right, you may start, and put the timer up. So my timer is probably 2 minutes behind what is the actual time of the match. But my timer is technically correct, because you're not supposed to start time until everybody's actually shuffled and set up. Or he could put 62 minutes on the clock and do it that way, because you're allowed 2 minutes for setup. So they're shuffling really slowly. I do know that these two players did ID. So Chris was guaranteed first place. He now has 6 first places at challenges. And Eamon, I think, was guaranteed at least top 4 at this point. So didn't mind going for the ID here. The two of them also came together, so why not? But they're still playing their game out for the camera. I didn't even tell them to be the recorded match this round. They just sat down. Like, they knew what I was gonna say, which is great. They know what I like. All right, they're taking their sweet time shuffling here. I'll tell you, their match here is a lot more eventful than any of the matches I had during this day. Round 1, I went against some kid's dad in a Lugia mirror where they got turn 2 Archeops both games, and I didn't. And then or did we get to a game? I don't even remember if we got to a game 3. And then the next round, I hit Wo-Chien Fortress Shaman V-Star. And then I hit the Lost Box Kid from round 1's recorded match. And I basically got donked game 1. Yeah, my Lugia got knocked out on their turn 1. After I went first. They got turn 1 Raikou, escape rope. And my only Lugia went down. And then we got to game 3. And it was close, but I couldn't do it. They just managed to, like, Super Rod Raikou every turn. It was really annoying. Although I'm like, oh, okay, you're going to put 4 damage counters here on my Snorlax, and then 6 here and 2 here. Okay. And then I said unfazed fat, and I drew for turn. And they're like, you're going to do me like that, Nick? And I said, yep. It's like, you should know what unfazed fat does by now, boy. So Eamon's going first. He's going to use that Battle VIP Pass, gets out this Dragonite V so he can Forest Seal Stone to get another Battle VIP Pass. Is going to be able to get 2 more bench Pokemon into play. Going to get that full bench, so looks like we are just going to get 1 more Comfey. Maybe he has something like a Cramorant in hand already. I'm not opposed to seeing the Battle VIP Pass just get 1 Pokemon. Even if you're Forest Seal Stoning for it, because then that's 1 less VIP pass that's in your deck that you could potentially draw into in future turns. I have definitely played Colress and gotten 3 Battle VIP passes off of it before, so there's still 1 going into hand. So while it's nice putting those into the Lost Zone with Flower Selecting and Colress, it's not always something that consistently happens. So if you can just thin the card out of your deck entirely so that you don't hit it off of those Flower Selectings, it's just even better than just hoping that you can get it into the Lost Zone instead of another card. Looks like Chris is going to use Luminion turn 1 here. He's going to grab the Arven out of his deck, be able to search a tool card and an item card. Item card being the Battle VIP Pass, which will likely get him maybe a Pidgeot V to attach the Forest Seal Stone to use another Battle VIP Pass maybe. We'll have to see exactly how he wants to play this turn. Depends on what is in his hand. So it looks like he just Arvens for the Battle VIP Pass only, it looks like. Again, not opposed to the idea of that, but I would like to see the Forest Seal Stone being thinned out of the deck just because. Do we have another Battle VIP Pass? Oh no, we already have the Forest Seal Stone. So we can we can put that down on the Luminion. I completely forgot. He already has a V Pokemon in play because he grabbed the Arven with it. So Forest Seal to the Luminion to grab another Battle VIP Pass to get 2 more bench Pokemon. So now we have the Manaphy to be able to protect our bench from the Radiant Greninja of our opponent. The Moonlight Shuriken will not be able to hit the bench whatsoever, keeping those 2 Charmanders and that Pidgey safe from those bench damages. And then as soon as those Pokemon evolve, you don't necessarily need the Manaphy anymore. So if Aemon does actually escape rope on this next turn, I wouldn't be surprised if Chris puts the Manaphy up as like Cramorant food or something, you know? Because again, he really only needs it for 1 turn until his Pokemon evolve. Maybe 2 turns. But as long as he gets set up the way that I've seen him get set up in multiple games now, he shouldn't need the Manaphy for more than 1 turn. So, look, we are going to go for the Colossus Experiment that's going to get rid of it. Looks like the Escape Rope and a Heavy Ball. We're going to be able to get rid of another Forest Seal Stone as well off of this Flower Selecting. We've already used the first one, so might as well get rid of the second to keep any other cards that are a little bit more alive. Sometimes you might want to keep it if you have a Lost Vacuum in hand. That way you can use the Lost Vacuum on it to be able to get more cards in the Lost Zone. But he already has 1 in play. If he gets a Lost Vacuum, he can just use it on the 1 in play to get those cards in the Lost Zone. Switch Cart is going to move another Comfey into the active spot to be able to use Flower Selecting. Big decision, Water Energy or Water Energy. Both of them E-Reader series. I really don't like the E-Reader series energy. It's just way too much yellow border. I don't like the yellow border cards unless they're Heart Gold Soul Silver specifically. Because, like, I don't know, something about the Heart Gold Soul Silver, like, design. It actually looks good with the yellow borders. But all of the other cards from all of the other series, I just hate the yellow borders. Something I'm glad they finally changed. We got those silver borders on the newer cards now, which looks so much better to me. They look so much cleaner. Which makes me think, what are they going to do for the Worlds decks? Are they going to make them blue border? Like My First Pokemon deck or whatever it's called that they made? Because those have blue borders in a different back. Because they always made the Worlds deck silver bordered to show that they were not tournament legal. But now that cards are normally silver bordered, we'll just have to see if that changes. And here comes the Spit Innocently. We are able to retreat into that Cramorant, take out the Mew. So Chris will have 1 less item card on this next turn because he can't use the Mysterious Tail of the Mew. He does have a Choice Belt in hand. He's thinking about maybe putting down or maybe just discarding it with the Ultra Ball because I don't think he's really going to need that in this matchup. That's more for like Pokemon V-Star like Lugia, where you just want to get knocking them out maybe 1 turn earlier than they normally would be able to. And looks like we are going to just Ultra Ball for another Charmander. One of those nice 70 HP ones. It's a different one. He's playing 3 different Charmanders, by the way. Eamon's reading all of their attacks. What do these do? We're going to attach to the Pidgey, probably just to be able to retreat it. Looks like we might be going for the research here as well. So, evolving into the Charmeleon on the 60 HP. Again, because you always want to evolve the 60 HP one first against Lost Box, because 60 HP is really easy for that thing to take out with a Sableye. We're going to be able to retreat into, looks like the Manaphy. And are we just going to pass from here? Because we do not have a setup going just yet. We might have another supporter for next turn. I see a couple of supporter-looking cards. But it might be Boss's Orders. We'll have to see. Can't really tell what they are as of this point. So Eamon's gonna go for the Chorus's Experiment. It's a little bit nice that he's gonna be able to get an additional use out of this Cramorant. He can knock out the Manaphy, but again, this might be the only turn he has to use Greninja, and the Manaphy is still in play. So if he knocks out the Manaphy now, we might actually see just like a bunch of Charizard evolutions and the Pidgeot evolution coming out, so that the Greninja is not worthwhile anymore. And yeah, just a Spit Innocently on the active Pokemon. We're going to promote the Charmeleon, and we definitely drew the Boss's Orders. What are the other supporters we have in hand? Looks like we have an Ultra Ball. I don't see a Rare Candy, but is that an Arven? That is. So the Arven can grab the Rare Candy out of the deck, as well as another Forest Sealstone, if there is one in there, just as something to be able to discard with the Ultra Ball, if he wants to conserve some of his other resources. But looks like that's not the case. The Forest Sealstone must be in the prizes. So we're going to Ultra Ball away. Battle VIP Pass as well as Pidgeot V. Makes sense. We're going to Rare Candy into Pidgeot EX. But we don't have a Charmeleon yet. Or we don't have a Charizard yet. But we can use the Quick Search. Since we already have Charmeleon in play, we don't need the Rare Candy. So we could always just Quick Search, grab the Charizard EX. So it looks like what we're doing here is we are using the Nest Ball to grab Radzard, and then the Quick Search to grab the Charizard EX. We're going to use its ability, Infernal Rain, to get 2 Fire Energies onto the active Pokemon, and then 1 Fire Energy onto the Radiant Charizard. That way, that thing can be set up as a potential 1-prize attacker later in the game to be able to weave in between the Charizard EXs. It's also a good way to just get a basic attacker into play as well. The Pidgeot EX is actually not that bad of an attacker in this deck as well, because it can just one-shot things like Cramorant and Sableye for 120 while also discarding a Stadium in play, so you could always get rid of your opponent's Pokestop to reduce their consistency. And it looks like he draws a Charizard EX off of the prize cards for that Cramorant. So now on this next turn, he can Quick Search for a Rare Candy into the Charizard EX. He just pulled off those prize cards, get yet another potentially 3 energies into play. It depends on how many are left in his deck. They usually only play about 8 energies in this Pidgeot Charizard deck. And I'm not sure how many. It looks like 1 is in the discard pile, 1's in hand, 2, 3, 4 are in play. Yeah, so there might still be 2 energy in the deck. Yeah, 1 in discard, 1 in hand, 4 in play. So that's 6 out of 8. So 2 between the deck and prize cards. So Eamon uses his Pokestop, gets the Super Rod, but unfortunately mills a Sableye and a Lightning Energy. That's not what you want to be seeing right now. As far as mills are concerned, you'd much rather be getting even more item cards. Sableye is one of your best attackers in the matchup because you can pick off those Charmanders fairly easily. Now that we have these 70 HP Charmanders, it's a lot better of a matchup than it was before. Just that 10 HP makes such a difference. Lost Box might actually... He's showing the hand. It's like all of his... It's like all of his Mirage Gates and energy recyclers and stuff. Oh my god. Super Odds, I think, as well. Yeah, he's showing it off. It's literally every way to get an energy into deck and into play that he plays that's remaining, I'm pretty sure. So he's gonna put the Sableye and 2 energies back into the deck. Shuffle those bad boys up. And like, yeah, what do you do here if you're Eamon? You still have 4 prizes remaining and you're facing down a Charizard EX. The choice belt was never put down. That might still be in hand. So he could always put that down on the Radiant. No, it's not in hand. Did he discard it earlier with the Ultra Ball? I think he might have discarded it. Because if he still had that, you can put that on the Charizard as well. And that does... Oh, I guess that does 280 if you do that. You're hitting 250 without it. Yeah, you don't need the choice belt on the Charizard in this matchup. You would want it in on the Radiant Charizard. You'd want it more so against like Lugia and stuff. And yeah, we're just spreading to the Luminion and to the Pidgeot EX. Feels a little bad. I almost would have rather just taken out the Charmander entirely off of the bench. Well, I guess he took down 1. And just spread to the other 2. So that's what, 7? And then 5 between the other 2. So it looks like 3 to the Pidgeot. And then that must be 2 to the Luminion. So that puts the Luminion at what, 150? Yeah, I'm not sure what the 2 to the Luminion does. I think I might have rather seen the 2 go down to the Charmander. Eamon does go down to 3 prizes remaining, so he's still keeping a pretty decent pace. But as soon as Chris is able to just like maybe get a boss's orders play, we are gonna find Ultra Ball off of that Pokestop, immediately using it. You saw the 3 cards from the Pokestop go to the discard pile, one of which being the Ultra Ball, but then he discards 2 from hand. That's just a little bit of shortcutting. He was playing the Ultra Ball immediately after finding that. Gonna Super Rod the Manaphy back into the deck, as well as 2 Fire Energies Rare Candy into Charizard EX, so that he can get those 2 Fire Energies into play. And yeah, it wouldn't even be bad to put that to the... Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad to put it to the Pidgeot, because then that gives you that as an optional attacker. But by putting that additional energy to the Radiant Charizard now, it gives you that option as the attacker on the next turn. And that's not something that Eamon can easily deal with on the next turn, because it has 160 HP that cannot be knocked out by a Cramorant because it doesn't hit for weakness. It can't be knocked out by a Sableye because it only does 12 damage counters. It can be knocked out by a Radiant Greninja, which would be why Chris put the Manaphy back into play. Maybe he's thinking, I attack with the Radiant Charizard while re-benching the Manaphy, and then Eamon is kind of forced to attack with Radiant Greninja into the active to take the knockout, but then the 90 damage for the bench does not go anywhere. So I actually really like that play from Chris. Eamon's deciding whether or not he wants to keep this Echoing Horn off of the flower selecting. I think you really do, because if you can knock out the 60 HP Charmander again, that would be really great. Like knock the 60 HP Charmander out and then like spread some damage to the Luminion, and then on the next turn Sableye the Luminion and win the game. That would be an actual win condition, and Eamon just throws the Echoing Horn into the Lost Zone, so that's not going to be an option anymore. And I think that that would actually have been a way for him to win the game. Is that double Energy Recycler again? Yeah, so the thing with Charizard is, while it's very inconsistent, it just really it does a lot of damage over time, and it just has so much HP that it's hard to deal with once it's established into play. So a lot of times they get 2 Charizards out, sometimes 3 Charizards out. You just can't win the game. Most of the time they can win just off of 2. And if they have the Pidgeot in play for consistency, they're Iono proof. You know, you can't just Iono them and hope, because they always just have the Iono of their own or the boss's orders that they need in order to stop whatever you're trying to do. And there it is. Boss's order is going to take out that Greninja. Goes back over to Eamon. It's now tied at 3 prizes to 3. And yeah, I don't think Chris is playing anything along the lines of Collapse Stadium. I know I saw an Artisan from him that he discarded with an Ultra Ball earlier. I'm not sure what his stadium lineup is like, but if he has Collapse Stadium, that would be a punish to Eamon using the Echoing Horn. But if Eamon did Echoing Horn, he can knock out a 60 HP Charmander, or even a 70 HP Charmander if that's the only one that's in the discard pile right now. Spread the rest to the Luminion. There's already 2 damage counters on it. So it's at 150. You knock out another one, put 50 down onto the Luminion. And then it can be knocked out by Sableye or a Cramorant if you just have like Boss Cramorant. But another thing that Eamon's doing here is actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Chris has not gotten the Manaphy into play, right? So if Eamon is able to set up the Kyogre attack here, it's actually relevant because he can knock out the Luminion as well as the Pidgeot EX at the same time. That's why he put the 3 damage counters onto the Pidgeot EX, because that would set up the Kyogre play. And now Eamon just goes like this, because now that the Manaphy is back in play, the Kyogre is no longer an option. So yeah, that was Eamon's win condition. So I really think that if he kept the Echoing Horn and tried to go after the Luminion, that would have given him a second out. So I forgot about the Kyogre play because I'm so used to thinking that Charizard is immune because of the Terra trait, but the other Pokemon in the deck aren't. So he was overly relying on going for the Kyogre for the win. But had he Echoing Horn to Charmander, established another Sableye, knocked out the Charmander, put the damage on the Luminion, and then re-established Sableye one more time, put all the damage counters onto the Luminion, he wins the game. So, I still think that it would have been hard for Eamon to pull off, but as you can see, his deck is gone at this point. So he definitely could have Kyogre'd this turn. We do know that he has Mirage Gates in hand, as well as the energy recyclers. So he definitely had the Kyogre to be able to win the game here. More than likely. But would he have been able to just Sableye multiple times? I don't know. I think that might have been a lot harder for him to do. So we are going to go for the energy recycler. We're putting back a ton of energy, more than it's allowing. We can only do 5 energy. And then we can Super Rod as well. Yeah, Eamon's just quite literally doing the actions of the... I can't even remember the attack name of the Kyogre. But we're doing the Kyogre's big attack. He's going to make it so his deck is just 5 energy cards. And now he's going to, I think it's like, what, Aqua Storm or something? And yeah, he has 5 energy in deck, so he would have been able to win this turn had Chris not gotten the Manaphy. But again, the power of the Pidgeot EX is too strong. He can always just search his deck for whatever card he wants. And did he just, how did he do 120? Did he surf? Did that mother trucker surf? He surfed the Charizard? How did he do 120? I don't even know. Because doesn't surf do like 40? And you can't hit the active Pokemon with the other attack of the Kyogre. You can only do bench damage. So it's usually 250 to 2 bench Pokemon. But yeah, that's the game. And yeah, as I said before, these two ID'd. So Chris won the League Challenge. Eamon got, I think, at least guaranteed top 4. And they played it out here, and Chris would have won anyway. So good job on Chris having maxed out League Challenges now. He's hopefully going to do well at this Toronto Regionals. Maybe he'll play Charizard, because he's actually been doing pretty well with that. The two of us have been like grinding Gardevoir and Lost Box at all the locals for like the last few months, and it just has not been going well for us. And all of a sudden he's picked back up with these past 2 tournaments going undefeated with this Charizard deck, so maybe he can just full send that at the regional and get somewhere. As always, guys, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe, as it says up above that match chimer there, and we will see you guys next time.